There's a lot of factors that are causing the South Florida condo market to appear unstable. Some of the most well-known ones are the Surfside tragedy. The Surfside tragedy, as many people know, it caused skyrocketing HOA fees and massive special assessments on property owners. With rising HOA fees and special assessments on property owners, and not only that, but they're also seeing insurance premiums going up, it's putting a squeeze on people's wallets. So not a lot of people can really afford paying for their condos every single month. With all these factors, if you want to include inflation, it gets even more difficult for folks. Well, these factors are definitely, it's creating pressure, right? So there's a lot of folks that are tied to a fixed income that can no longer afford their mortgages, their insurances, the special assessments, and it's causing a lot of folks to really put to consider moving and relocating to somewhere that's more affordable. This really does increase the supply of condos in the market, and it can eventually potentially reduce the cost of a lot of condos in the future. So it's always going to be South Florida, and South Florida is always going to be high in demand. But you got to keep in mind that the sentiment right now in the markets is everybody is fearful of what's happening with these special assessments. I've had several conversations with condo owners, and they're all putting their condos in the market. I know folks who are considering buying or relocating to a new home and are not considering condos just because of the fear that in the future their HOAs can continue to rise even further, or even further special assessments might eventually become a thing. And so they're afraid of actually investing in these condos. So right now, a lot of folks are looking at the market as not as an opportunity. They're looking at it as something that they want to run away from. Well, at this point, it does open up the doors for savvy investors to come in and make disrespectful offers, right? There are some people that need to get relief, immediate relief, that would probably forego taking profits in order to really to experience that immediate relief. So there are opportunities out there for bold investors that are willing to make devaluing offers. And these devaluing offers is basically where you really lowball the owner of the property and try to buy the property below market value. So understanding sellers' emotions are really crucial to getting an advantage for buyers, right? If you understand that the person who is selling that property needs immediate relief because they are tied to a fixed income or because they can no longer afford the lifestyle in South Florida, then you have a little bit more leverage, right? Interest rates still happen to be rather high, so the markets really, investors really haven't all jumped into the market with lower interest, hoping that interest rates lower. So right now, it's a perfect recipe for someone who has the ability to buy because the market isn't flooded with buyers. Borrowing costs being as high as they are right now is definitely making it much more difficult for someone who's looking to buy a new home to go to the market and get favorable interest rates, right? Wherever you go, whatever bank or institution that you're thinking about, the interest rates are going to be pretty high. So not everyone's going to be able to afford relocating or buying their first home. So this is essentially creating a market where there's not that many buyers and there are people who are still eager to sell. And that creates a perfect opportunity for somebody who has the ability to buy in the current market that we're in. Well, this is definitely going to create much more of a favorable environment for cash buyers because they don't need to go to the banks right? They can just go to the market. And those folks who are willing to take the risks of shopping in a market like the one that we're in now do have somewhat an advantage if they do things properly to be able to find good deals in the market. Well, recognizing market cycles is really important. So the last few years, the interesting thing has happened is that we've seen cycles really come in several different markets. We saw it happen in the stock market from 2021, 2022, and then 23, we started to see a rebound, and also 24, where you saw the lows, you saw the highs, and we saw it happen down here in South Florida for the real estate market, where we saw highs all the way through 2023, and now we're starting to get to the point where the real estate is starting to cool down quite a bit. So a savvy investor is one who's able to be patient when things are overpriced and can really tame their instincts, or I would just say can really time themselves correctly before buying. And if you can recognize that markets are high and you know that it's not a good time to purchase, just being patient is going to be one of the key factors for you to make good investment decisions. The first thing that a savvy investor should do to capitalize on the market that we're in is build a team around themselves. Have the right professionals, whether it's a realtor, whether it's a mortgage broker, or whether it's just a cash investor. But you want to have that ready just in case you happen to come across a good opportunity. The second thing that they should consider is when they're looking for these opportunities, they should know what to look for. And the first thing that I would do is I would look for properties that have been in the market for a long period of time, or have had prices drop in recent months because the owner hasn't been able to sell it. But I also wouldn't cancel out properties that have recently listed. Some of these property owners that are recently listing are probably realizing that the markets are starting to go in favor of the buyer. So any new listings could be an owner who's really trying to capitalize on prices still being somewhat on the higher side. So even recent listings can have opportunities. So those are the things that I would do to capitalize on the current market environment that we're in. So recognizing market cycles and being aware of opportunities like this is what smart investors do to stand apart. So now is the time to act decisively and capitalize on rare moments in the market. Thank you for tuning in to Prescribed Wealth Podcast. If you enjoyed this video, please hit a like. If you want to watch more videos like this, please subscribe. And thank you once again for stopping by.